Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Aluminum Tarot. It's good to have you here. I am actually testing out a new camera today, so we're going to see if this actually works, hopefully. Keep our fingers crossed that everything goes all right. But anyways, yeah, hopefully the image is clear enough, and it is 4K camera. Just hope that it actually appears in 4K based on the settings. Anyways, I'm going to do like a rando reading right now, just something that's going to be completely, for whoever wants to hear it. I suppose whoever this message resonates with is who, I'm actually reading for. And we will see what goes from there. So, as always, if you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment in the box below. And if you would like to support monetarily, feel free also to donate maybe £2 to £3, $2 to $5, whatever. It's up to you, completely at your discretion. It just kind of shows a bit of gratitude, thanks for the channel, as well as doing your civic duty to keep the tarot community thriving. I don't know, whatever you want to look at it as. Also, as an order of the day, please be sure to block and report all spammers, scammers, and scandalous scalawags that are operating on the internet that are trying to steal from tarot card readers who are actually doing this for a living. I am currently just doing it for a hobby and to build the channel itself. However, there are other people who are well more established, and they tend to get targeted by those unscrupulous people. So we'll leave it at that. I'll try to keep it PG at the moment. Anyways, your reading. So for whoever wants to hear this is going to be a reading that's pretty interesting. So we start out with the Queen of Cups. This is a situation in which you were trying to be very receptive to everything that was taking place. You were also trying to hear someone out and be a bit empathetic to them. When you have the Queen of Cups, this woman is sat here with her chalice, which is the most ornate chalice in the entire, procession of the tarot cards, whether that's the major arcana or the minor arcana. So even the King of Cups, his chalice is not nearly as ornate as that one. So you can see that this is a person who has deeply mastered their ability to hold their emotions and to be motherly in that situation. Maybe there may have been some porous boundaries, things where you had to step back and say, no, I need to set the limitations on this particular thing. Or, okay, now we can talk a little bit more about this. Now we can invite this into our life. And one thing I'm noticing about this Queen of Cups, if I clarify, maybe this was a person who caused one too many problems. They may have caused some problems in your life, and actually you've had to reject them multiple times. And on this fourth time that they come back into your life, you're like, okay, I'm going to try to be receptive, but I'm going to hear you out. So I'm getting almost like Queen of Swords vibes in many ways, but in this one, it's a bit more at the emotional level. It's a bit more receptive and, okay, I'm going to hear what you have to say, but it better be good. Next after that, we've got the Temperance card. The Temperance did come out on its side. And I'm not really sure exactly why that was the case, but we can clarify with a couple more cards just to see what that was about. Clarify the Temperance. Yep. Clarify the Temperance again. Right. Okay, so we have two cards here that talk about someone who has betrayed you, gone behind your back, and done some, as we use the word of the day, unscrupulous things that didn't really resonate well with you. There may have been a third party in the cards. There may have been someone who was cheating, backstabbing, conspiring with other people, say for example in a workplace, to basically cause this this issue for you. And with that, you have the Page of Wands in the reverse, so it kind of took your spark away. And now you're trying to get back into a bit of balance and equilibrium after that situation has taken place. So it's almost like I'm getting a person who let someone that they knew was a little bit of trouble or difficulty with, and now they're trying to give them a fourth chance or a fifth chance or whatever. So this is kind of like a reoccurring theme in your life where you have allowed this person to step back in. They then betray you, And then later on you find out, okay, well, I need to finally understand what I need to do about this type of relationship by making a judgment call. So if I can pull it back here, that's a judgment card. And yeah, and seeing this, it's almost like I'm getting the expression you have to put your foot down. I think that with this individual, finally you've had enough. You've had your fill of whatever it is that they've been doing to you in your life. So this is a person who probably comes back around and says, oh, I've changed, I've done this, now it's time for me to, let's try to work this out. And you've experienced this many times with this individual. And it's not the first, rodeo that you've had with them. But now you realize that they keep knocking you off of your equilibrium when they do stuff. It's not that you're necessarily experiencing a tower moment, but it is a situation in which you are, they may do something that, like, say, an off-the-cuff comment, or they may, resort to triangulating you with other people, or, it's like maybe it's a colleague that you have to work with, but that, every now and then they do stir the pot a bit, and this causes you to become a bit irritated. And it seems like a person that might be younger than you, actually, because when you have these two cards here, which are the Three of Cups and the Page of Wands, both in the reverse, it's almost like an immature individual that works behind your back. So they've got this high school mentality where they have to always sabotage your best efforts by putting you in situations in which you are not, how can I say? Yeah, it's a person who might like gossip, because I know the Three of Cups in the reverse can be gossipy. There may be a habitual, in the words of, Charlie Murphy, there may be a habitual line stepper or something like that. Maybe someone who has, been conspiring behind your back to speak with people who are higher up, or maybe a lover that you have been involved with who is younger than you, very immature in nature, and they have been sneaking behind your back and doing all sorts of stuff, touching on people's body parts they probably shouldn't be touching on if they're in a relationship with you. So that said, I think the outcome of all of this is you have the Four of Pentacles, and then you have the Death card. I cannot get this camera to focus that well. And then you have the Queen of Swords in the reverse. So with that said, what you're doing, it feels like you're putting a tourniquet on this bloody relationship that you've got. I don't know how best to really describe it. I have a picture of a tourniquet in my head, and you normally tie those around parts of your body that have experienced like cuts or very deep gashes, wounds, things like that, and it helps to cut off the supply of blood, so that doctors could then take care of you and sort the wound out, or that you can maybe sew it up a bit later. With the Four of Pentacles, it's normally about holding back, and pentacles are like physical, tangible things that you can use in order to allow yourself to conserve your energy for a specific purpose. So, for example, someone is trying to take your time, and they're trying to deceive you into, hanging out with them, or being your friend, or being a good colleague to you, or, borrowing your ideas, things like that. Now you're just holding on. You're holding back, and you're saying, okay, back off. I need time to myself. I don't need to keep involving myself in this at all. So it's cutting off the flow of a time, money, attention, and value to this individual who has come into your life, and kind of acts a bit like a leech or a parasite in many ways. Then you have the Death card. That is fully ending that cycle. By ending that cycle, you can transform the way you share your energy with other people. And in a way, I would say that with the Death card and the Queen of Swords in the reverse like that, you're letting this person know what time it is. And I think that you're actually allowing yourself to express the negative emotions that you have pent up. Because when the Queen of Swords speaks and she's in the reverse, you are all sorts of bitches and motherfuckers in her eyes, and she doesn't play games like that. And she will let you know that you have cocked something up completely, and that you are now no longer within the good graces of her presence. And I think that that's saying a lot, because it seems that you go from the Queen of Cups in the upright to the Queen of Swords in the reverse. That means that this person, the thing that they've done this time is kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. And it's not necessarily something that you want to indulge in anymore. So it's key and it's important for you to, express that. And then finally, sorry, there's a phone call here. It's finally good for you to express that to people, so that way they don't have any inkling that they can get away with sabotaging your life, creating chaos in your life, or, taking away from your best efforts. So I'm going to wrap this up here because I keep getting a phone call and I need to go ahead and answer that. Yeah, that final judgment call that you make, I'm going to go ahead and clarify that, so that way you can understand what that judgment call is. So judgment call is 9 of Wands. And guess what? The 8 of Cups. So that said, Knight of Wands, 8 of Cups. You're bouncing, throwing up deuces. Bye. It's all over. So that's the message for today. Whatever this relates to in your life, remember this is just an algorithmic expression of energies that are taking place for you. And, this can apply to any part of your life, like love, work, career, friendships, and things like that. So that said, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure reading for you. Hopefully this camera is all right. I will experiment with it a bit more just to see if I can get the color balance a bit right, and the ability to focus as well. But if you like this, again, as always, feel free to share your comments, like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell, and all that good stuff. I will see you next time. Thanks so much. And until then, love and light. Bye now.